Hey everyone, it's me, Nathan from Nathan's Way. Today I am doing a self-love check-in. Yes, it is my first one since I did my self-love September video where I analyze my self-love journey and talk about it in depth. So, the past 2 weeks since I uploaded that video, I have been taking and observing my self-love journey. I've been seeing the different aspects and what I need to work on and what I need to move forward with. And for that to happen, I needed to start at the very base. And the very base is what I tell myself. The very base is self-confidence, what I tell myself, and how I treat myself, basically. So I did this project where I tallied up on my phone, which you're watching me from. So on my phone I took a tally of how many times I said something that is a very self-defeating thing, ranging from negative self-thoughts, or I can't do that, versus I can't do that, or I don't look like the way I want to, like any little nitpicky thing I have about myself that comes from the back of my thoughts, where it exposes how I truly think and feel about myself in the negative. And this habit that I've formed has been probably over a decade, or almost over a decade. Actually, no, over a decade of me telling myself I'm not good enough, I can't do this, my self-worth is, I'm not worth anything. I'm like, as all those self-defeating thoughts that actually come to surface. Now, it doesn't, when I say this, it could be me looking in the mirror and quickly looking away, which I've done so many times. It could be me thinking very harshly about myself on a particular thing, or sometimes they even verbalize in self-defeating jokes, like, oh, don't mind me, I'm a horrible human being. Like, I've said that, or the way I feel about myself. And sometimes I don't realize that sometimes they actually become verbal instead of just a mind game, which at certain times that can be very bad, depending on what I say or when I say it, where I say it, because half the time I could be thinking a thought that is very loud, and sometimes I respond vocally, and sometimes it ain't good. So I tallied that. I also tallied up my panic attacks and flashbacks that I get, which those weren't as much, but they are more than usual. So I've counted, sorry for typos in advance, I've counted 20, this is one, okay, this is one day, this is 2 weeks, okay? Sorry, I got confused a little. So I usually say something about 20 times a day in self-defeating thoughts and thoughts and emotions. And with panic attacks and flashbacks, that only happened 3 times in 2 weeks, which that is higher than normal, but the panic attacks have different factors than the self-defeat. So let's talk about self-defeating. Well, I kind of already did. It's like those glimpse flashes and all this. But with the panic attacks, let's talk about that now. The panic attacks or anxiety attacks, I personally can't tell which is which. I've been told I've had both at one point by therapists a long ass time ago when I went to school, and they said that panic attack, like, they told me, oh, you're having panic attack. One told me, oh, it's an anxiety attack. So I'm just like, I don't know if they feel the same to me, so I kind of change out the words, which is probably wrong, but whatever, it's what I do. Now, panic attacks come from certain triggers. Like, it could be a flashback, like a memory that I I really don't want to deal with. Or it could be a trigger from a smell of laundry detergent or a certain movie or a certain song. Like, it could be those triggers. So depending on what it's tied to, the memory is tied to, it really ranges. But also, I find with my panic attacks come from more when I'm stressed. It's a trigger, a flashback, trigger, and stress. Combine that, and I get a full-blown out panic attack. And that's what happens. And flashbacks come when I don't even know what triggers flashbacks, but it could be a random thought from a memory that I'm suppressing, or like, it really ranges. Flashbacks are kind of new, kind of not new. I've had them for probably 3 or 4 years, and depending on my stress level or what I'm doing, it could be a lot more or a lot less. So yeah, it's very confusing with flashbacks. But panic attacks, a lot of the times it has to do with stress plus the trigger. Anyways, so this is a constant battle. It is going to be a constant battle until, let's look at the game of capture, a very violent game of capture the flag in a vegetable garden. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that. It is a battle. It is a battle where you're trying to reach your goal, which is the flag on the other side of the garden. But you have to tread through dirt. You got to tread through the rotten fruit. You got to tread ahead and go over and figure out a maneuver without the negative of pushing back. So you're trying to go through. Oh my gosh, I'm watching me do these hands. But you go through and you're trying to capture that flag. You're trying to reach your end goal, and then push back, and sometimes it pushes back. Like, eventually, if you work hard enough, you're going to get that flag. But then you look at the damage you've done to the vegetable garden, and you got to do repairs. You have to like, get the rotten fruit, turn it into compost. Gotta fix and mend the plants so they can grow self-loving fruit. So the journey to self-love is forever going. For me, it's forever going, and it's going to be a struggle, because the vine from a vegetable plant could trip me and I can fall flat on my face into some manure. Oh, garden references. But I feel like once you rip up the weeds, you pull the weeds, you go through the dirt to finally capture that flag. That flag you're waving is self-love, but you still gotta protect it. You still gotta protect it and repair, because these negative thoughts and self-defeating thoughts that I've developed for over a decade are they're ingrained in me by now, and it's really hard to have a mindset shift without constant work and that is why I'm doing these videos. Now let's go back to my tally. So this is 20 a day, and how am I gonna start this off? So what is the solution? Take control. And how do you do that? You combat at these tally marks. So with this is, I want to combat these tallies with, I want to combat the negative remarks with one negative remark with two positives. The first compliment or self-approving thing shuts that negative down. The second one sends out another positive wave. So because this way, I personally believe that whatever we talk, say, or think something, that is energy, that is space we are giving that thought, that we're putting out, we're projecting. And when I say something self-defeating about myself, like, oh, I'm just a horrible human being, that kind of changes, puts something in motion, because I believe every consequence has a reaction, whether it be positive or negative. So if I'm putting self-defeating things out, I feel like it will eventually come at me, because an object in motion stays in motion. You remember that thing? Well, I feel like an energy, a word, whatever you're putting out will continue forward, and it will eventually go so forward that it will reach you again. That is kind of the logic I'm playing with it right now. So when I do these tallies, I'm when I have a negative thought, I'm sending a negative thing out, and it could be, if it's out loud or I'm joking with someone, they could be like, oh, you really have low self-esteem, or, oh, if you're that type of person, why am I around you? It's very reflective to an extent. So that is why I want to send out 2 times. I want to send out 2 times a positive for every negative. So 1 cancels out, and then 2 kind of reinforces the positive instead of negative. So we got my tallies, and so 20 is the minimum, 40 is my end goal. So in my mind, when I put one positive out for every 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then I cross it off. So you see what I kind of did there? So for every negative, I have a positive, and So that cancels out. And then if I do it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I cross it up. So you see I have more blue than I have red. So I have more positive than I have negative. So that is the logic I'm trying to get. And so in hopes, if I keep with this practice, my hope is to eventually 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cross, and then this looks so horrible. So I have something that looks like this, and then hopefully with those blues will take over the red. So instead of having something like this, I'll start having only positives. So hopefully I will have 10 positives instead of automatically 10 negatives, and then combating those with 20 positives. So that is my potential goal, my thought process on that, how I'm going to combat this. And so, short term, long term. So, see, this is my short term, this is my long term. And then I want to create a practice also where I'm automatically saying positive things about myself. Like when I brush my teeth and I'm looking in the mirror, I say something positive. So I'm putting more energy out there. And let's say I repeat it 3 times. So 3x in the mirror. And I do that 2 times a day. That would be 6. So that would be an extra 6 times I'm saying something positive to myself. So this is a lot of ideas I'm working on, and when it comes to panic attacks and flashbacks, how I want to solve that is, first of all, I want to get the proper help. When insurance can finally cover it. I want to do what works best in a normal circumstance. Like, for me, what works best is aftercare. Like, so when I have a panic attack, I don't necessarily realize I'm having one until it's too late. But with panic attacks, I was taught a long time ago that it is a process. It starts off one way, and then it kind of builds up, and then it reaches a peak, and then fades off, and then dies out. And yeah, I know that's a little jumbled, but that's what I remember. I'm sure that you can look up the stages of a panic attack, but what I like to do, and I got this from a different community that I thought would really help, is aftercare. So when you have a panic attack, or when you have a negative thought or flashback, I like to do what is called aftercare. I've been doing this for the past couple months, and it's been really good. So what I do is I do something nice for myself. I pour myself a cup of tea so I can decompress, or I eat my favorite snack, or I do something nice for myself. I mean, I'm never in a good mood afterwards, but something that will having something that will bring me back to self and that will calm me down, and it's a minor thing I like to enjoy. That is what I want. Like, that is what helps me with my panic attacks and decompressing. So those are some of my solutions and some of my thoughts and some of my reflections over the past 2 weeks. I really do think this take is a little bit better than last, so I'm going to watch it, do some little editing, because I gotta reverse so the words and stuff are in the right direction. But I want to thank you so much for staying with me on this journey, and if you're new, thank you for watching this journey with me. And with that, if you really like this video or you want to see more, please consider subscribing, or even just liking the video. And if you get to the point where you want to hear all about my updates, I recommend you hit the little notifications button every time I post something. It will go bing on your phone. Thank you so much. This is my way, Nathan's way.